Welcome to the Newsa-Cast YouTube channel. These Red Smith Banquet throwbacks are exclusive interviews of sports legends, powerful media personalities, and influential coaches. You won't find these anywhere else. Subscribe below and enjoy.
All right, Newsa-Cast listeners, you are here to see the throwback to the Red Smith Sports Banquet. And this week we are bringing you Sal Bando. Sal Bando, here in Wisconsin, we know him as a baseball player for the Milwaukee Brewers. But, 1966 to 1981, he played the final year with the Brewers, but won 3 World Series from 72 to 74. Probably known more for playing with the Oakland A's, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Brewer fans remember more probably as the GM, but you're right. His playing days were with the Oakland A's, and they had some heck of the teams back then. Raleigh Fingers, I believe, played for them back there before being a Brewer as well.
Yeah, absolutely. He came to the Red Smith Sports Banquet in what year, Joe?
1998, Tash. He came to the Paper Valley Hotel as the Red Smith Award winner.
Yeah, he was born in Cleveland. He did just pass away in 2023, actually in Oconomowoc, Wisconsin. But very talented baseball player. Was kind of overshadowed by Brooks Robinson. They played about that same time, and Brooks, as we know, Brooks was one of the premier third basemen ever. But Sal Bando made a huge impact in baseball, and you're going to hear a lot about him. And remember, this podcast, what you're about to see, goes back to our podcast. And this is a throwback from our podcast with Jeff Van Lannen, who is the new volleyball coach for the Lawrence University Vikings. So if you want to check out the entire podcast, go to wherever you get your podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever that may be, and go and check out and follow us and enjoy our entire podcast and this throwback.
Distinguished guests and ladies and gentlemen, I'm very, very happy to have had the opportunity of coming back here once again to be a part of this great sports program. It's my privilege tonight, and it's a pleasant task indeed, to present the Red Smith Award to an old friend who was a player representative with me many, many years ago when he was with the Oakland Athletics. Sal Bando has a unique background and a unique history of businesses that he's been involved in over the years. He was a great athlete, graduated from the University of Arizona, where he was a third baseman on the Arizona Baseball Club. He was picked up by the Kansas City A's, and they ultimately moved to Oakland. He played with Oakland for 11 years, and during those 11 years, he was on the World Series championship teams 3 years in a row, 1971, 1972, and 1973. Sal is not only a great athlete, he's a very, very successful businessman. He started the Bando John McLaughlin Investment Company. They're over-the-counter in stock. They've been very successful. And due to the fact that Sal is now with the Milwaukee Brewers, he no longer can participate as an active member, but still remains a member of the board of directors. After terminating his career with the Oakland A's, he came to the Brewers for a period of 5 years. And at the end of the 5 years, he decided to retire. Maybe the batting average wasn't going up as fast as he thought it should, and he thought it was probably time to quit. So the Brewers recognized his ability, recognized that he was a sound baseball man, and used him as an assistant to the general manager at that time. A few years later, Sal became the vice president of baseball operations here with the Milwaukee Brewers in Milwaukee. We've had winning and losing seasons over these past many years. And the competition that we have today with the Steinbrenners and other owners in the big leagues, it's difficult for Milwaukee to compete. But yet with the acumen and the intelligence and the drive that Sal Bando possesses, he has been able to finagle, and I say that word advisedly, he's been able to do things that other general managers may not have been able to do. He'll trade 2 for 3 or 3 for 2, and he'll wind up with a starter. He'll wind up with a good closer. He'll wind up with a good right-handed hitter or a good left-handed hitter. and it hasn't cost the Brewers too much money, although they're paying out the millions just like everybody else is, but they've got a cap on their budget that is only half maybe of what some of the ball clubs have. And yet we're going to stay in competition. There's no two ways about it, that because of the fact that Sal Bando is our general manager, and Sal is able to do these things based upon his own experience as a ball player, based upon his experience as an assistant general manager, and based upon his experience the last 5 years as a vice president of baseball operations. I'm satisfied that, like you people up here in the Green Bay area, you're enjoying the fruits of the Green Bay Packers, that you all come down here to Milwaukee someday and enjoy the fruits of Sal Bando and the Milwaukee Brewers when they get into the World Series. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm very happy at this time to present Sal Bando, the Vice President of the Milwaukee Brewers.
Thank you, Judge. You read that just the way I wrote it. I appreciate it. I'd like to first congratulate all the award winners and the young people for the many wonderful things they've accomplished. It truly is an honor to be recognized, and I congratulate you. It also is an honor for me to receive the Red Smith Award. As I read and knew of all the accomplishments that Red had done in his lifetime, couldn't help but think that if he was an active athlete today, we'd be seeing him on TV doing a lot of commercials as a gifted athlete, coach, and manager that he was. So it really is an honor for me to accept with his name on this trophy. It is also a pleasure to sit up here with many successful people, especially Coach Walsh, Bob Cousy. And I can't help but remember something that was said to me. In 1973, we had won the World Series in 1972 and got off to a very lackluster start in 73. We came on a road trip to Milwaukee, and our owner, who lived in Chicago, came up to have a clubhouse meeting. And in this meeting, he had said something that has stuck with me ever since, and I think it applies to all of us in any endeavor that we try, in any position in life that we're in, for young people in school. And he said, everyone in this room, and I say everyone in this room, has a desire to be successful. And he said, desire comes from the mind. But those that are truly successful requires dedication, and that comes from the heart. And I really believe that's where we separate the very successful people from those that aren't as successful. It takes that extra effort, that extra step. It takes truly dedication. And maybe I heard it best just a couple of weeks ago when I was fortunate to attend a banquet that my son was involved in. And I heard the football coach that was honored that night say that his creed in life was that a dream plus a good game plan plus hard work equal reality. Or a dream plus no game plan plus no hard work equals a dream. And for all of you young people out there, I think it's very possible to do what you want to do. But it does take hard work, and most of all, it takes dedication. It was very honored to hear Roland and John Bowles and everyone talk about us going to the National League. I found it very interesting. We no sooner get named to the National League, the Cubs make more trades than they ever have. The Houston Astros are dealing every day, and the St. Louis Cardinals are trying to sign free agents all over the place. I really believe that when you look at the schedule they gave us, they have us opening up with Atlanta. And until Florida started dumping players, they had us going down to Florida. That's the same route that the Cubs took last year when they had their tough streak. As much as they're welcoming us to the National League, I don't think anyone wants us to do very well. As I looked at the award recipients of the Red Smith Award, I couldn't help but notice Robin Yount's name. Robin, who was a very good friend and teammate of mine, it reminds me of a true story that when I first took over the job as general manager, Robin was at the end of his contract term, and we had renegotiate and get him to another contract. And Bud had been doing the negotiations, and Robin had his brother who served as his agent doing it, and they weren't getting anywhere. And I said to Bud, Bud, why don't you let me get involved with Robin? We're good friends, and I think I can get it done. So he said, why don't you take a chance? So I went down to Arizona and met Robin for lunch, and we sat down and had a nice lunch. And I said, Robin, we really need to get this thing done. I said, so, we got to settle on a number. So I wrote down a number on a napkin and slid it over to him. He looked at that number and scratched it out. He wrote down another number, slid it to me. I looked at it, scratched that number, put another number, slid it to him. So we went back and forth a little bit. Finally, we agreed on a number, and I said, Robin, I really would appreciate it if you wouldn't tell anyone what this is about. And he said to me, Sal, I'm just as embarrassed as you are. I won't. I thank you again very much for this honor and for being here. We would hope to see all of you at County Stadium sometime during the season, and we thank you very much for your support, and God bless.
Please subscribe to this channel, give this video a thumbs up, and hit that notification bell so you get notified when we post another great episode or interview. Download the podcast on Apple Podcast, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you for your support.